Hello, I'm Pat Halpin.
And I'm Lisa Jandovitz. Welcome to part 2 of a teaching and learning celebration. That's next on Learning Curve. Hello.
It's our secret weapon, is to communicate with children through the teachers.
As teachers, we're always looking for opportunities on how to bring the world to our classroom.
In part 1, we had a great time sharing the highlights of the 3rd annual Teaching and Learning Celebration, with a focus on both the need to improve performance in science, math, and global awareness, along with the critical importance of 21st century learning skills. Experts in the field, world travelers, and educators shared with us the importance of incorporating these skills into the K-12 curriculum.
What are the skills that young people need to be successful in the new global economy? So we've now answered that question. We've actually created a framework that tries to lay out the basic skills beyond content mastery, which all of us have been focused on for 50 years and more. What are the other skills that young people need? Critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, communications, and global awareness are probably the 5 skill sets that are the most important in the new global economy.
School life should be like real life. So in that place called school, and I think there's still an important role for a place called school, the school is open to the community. The kids go out into the community and study community-based issues. They look at the water quality in their community. They look at the history of their town. That requires getting out of this building called school, but coming back to do the work, to do the writing, the reflection. So it's really recreating a learning community.
For the past 6 years, the Lizard Project has been a key component of the 4th grade curriculum at Waterville School. Local farmers volunteer their time to record critter sightings on data sheets provided by the students.
I'd like to welcome everybody this morning.
On the first day of the project, the farmers bring their information to school. They meet their student partners.
Good, how are you?
And help them enter data on graphs and charts which pinpoint the time.
So it's just 1 at 3 p.m.
Place.
That's too far over.
And temperature for each sighting.
So then where else do we go from here? Do we actually log these in on the computer?
Yeah.
Okay.
The lizard data is used by researcher Karen Dvornich as part of a University of Washington program called Nature Mapping, an effort to quantify populations of common species across the country.
The nature mapping program is really simple. Tell us what you see and where you see it. And all the schools and all the different communities provide that information to us. So this is all new science for us, and it's just wonderful. And we don't know what the horny toads do. We don't understand how they live in the farmland. We don't understand what they do during the winter. We don't know if they freeze.
Working with 4th grade teacher Diane Peterson, Dvornich helped design core curriculum materials around the year-long project.
So we have to be reading and writing and doing math.
And when I saw what the kids were supposed to do at different age levels, I said, oh, we have math, we have science, we have technology, we have art, we have all these components.
How to catch a horny toad. The first thing you have to have is a good eye.
When we do project-based learning, every learning style can be hit. The kids can use their own personal best learning style to accomplish the goals.
That's a good picture. It looks just like the ones I've seen, actually.
We've found that for some kids, drawing a scientific illustration that's labeled with all the correct scientific words is a perfect way for them to shine and to show what they know.
Tail is right there, has stripes on it.
During the project, students learn sophisticated computer programs like ArcView, and they display their findings on a class webpage at the end of the year.
26, 23. What maps do I need?
We start very simply with some paper maps, and we learn how to find township, range, and section. And now what does this look like on the computer?
Let's zoom into this area right here.
And we practice, and everybody has a turn.
There we go.
It's a long process, and there's a high learning curve. The technology is easier for the kids than it is for me.
We need to find T28.
Involving the farmers who may or may not have had the best experience in school, getting them back into school for a really positive experience. They're just amazed at what the kids know, and relationships are formed between these kids and the farmers that go way beyond this project.
So for our young people to be able to experience the joy of doing things that they did when they were born, which is exploring their environment, exploring their world, if we can continue to provide classroom environments both inside the four walls and outside the four walls where kids and teachers too, because that's one of the joys of being a teacher. I mean, the greatest joy besides helping people is you get to help them and learn at the same time.
I've been a learning leader for 4 years, and it's enough time for me to realize, without teaching training in the past, that there's a lot to learn about teaching.
And it's always so wonderful to come because you get at least a chance to meet other teachers. You see what other people are putting out, new technology, and it's very important to keep in touch with the new things for your classroom.
I'm very interested in literacy in mathematics, and there's a lot out there on literacy here, so I get good strategies to use from the professional development sessions, and also I've made some connections with some of the exhibitors. Last year I met somebody from JPL, and we actually did a video conference with scientists, engineers from NASA about the Mars rover.
We just met Mr. McFeely over there. We're beyond excited. We got autograph pictures.
Delivery.
It's just a great resource and opportunity to network with other teachers, network with other professionals on various different levels. This is a wonderful opportunity for me to refresh and fully realize and invest in this career that I have chosen.
It's an incredible asset. I mean, there's a wealth of information at my fingertips that I didn't know was available prior to. So I'm, coming here, as a new teacher to the Board of Education, because it is my first year working with them as a speech pathologist, but also learning about the wealth of materials that are at my fingertips that I did not know were there.
We started using Skype. We started using Twitter, which is an online way to connect with people. We got more involved in collaborating with other teachers, and our entire way of teaching has changed because of us coming here last year.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Our friend Snook from It's a Big, Big World showed us around the exhibits, and we celebrated all 10 winners of the Chase Multimedia in the Classroom Awards competition. Tonight, we take a look at how 21st century skills are used both in and out of the classroom. First, we followed Sagamore Middle School on Long Island as they prepared their submission for the Chase Awards competition. The Sagamore Middle School in Holtsville is just one of 71 schools that participated in the Chase Awards competition this year. When students are involved in projects like this, they not only gain knowledge, but they become the ambassadors of the environment.
I wanted to do this project because, I wanted people to be aware of, global warming. So if I did this, I could possibly, go home and spread it to my family. And then, I get knowledge of global warming. Then I can spread to, all my friends, and they'll know.
When I found out that this would be a movie kind of thing, I thought, wow, this might, help me in my career to be an actor.
Well, I think working with the children outside of school, not in the classroom, me teaching them, but they were teaching us as well as themselves. And I think working with them on a less structured environment was really great.
Global warming, stop global warming, stop global warming.
Hi, I'm Amanda. Hi, I'm Tyler. And I'm Leona. So, what caused you all to protest here today?
We began protesting. I got to see the creative side of a whole bunch of people, with all the ideas for the scenes. It was all our ideas, and how we were able to put them all together. That was just really cool. All of us, everybody, and all the kids and everything, we had a lot of fun doing it while also learning, and it was just a blast to do it, and it was really fun.
These students had fun applying 21st century skills like being creative, collaborating, and communicating through technology by producing their own video and podcast on global warming.
We had a first meeting, and we all just took ideas of what we wanted it to be about. So we had ideas, and we just took the best ideas, and we started to make scenes out of it.
We all sat together as a group, and we collectively said, all right, what do we want to do? How do we want to get our message across about global warming? And we thought kids obviously want to see something on camera because it will attract them more. And we wanted to be a podcast because everybody has iPods nowadays, and So it'll be very accessible to everyone.
I had read Al Gore's book and I had seen his movie Inconvenient Truth, but yet some of the facts that the children had researched and brought into the different scenes really made it drive home to me about global warming.
Another idea to help prevent air pollution is to buy fireplaces that do not burn wood, but simply heat propane lighters to limit release of carbon dioxide.
As a first-year teacher, this is all really new to me. It was really good to see the students outside of a classroom setting, being able to see them working creatively together without me having to prompt them. They were really creative. They were willing to put in a lot of time. It was all intrinsic motivation.
While applying 21st century skills in education, the teachers serve as the coach or facilitator of learning. The Sagamore Middle School kids realized their potential and had fun working together as a team, even though the results were not what they had hoped for.
When we found out about the results, I was a bit disappointed, but we really did win in the end because we had this great experience and we met a lot of new people that we didn't really know that well, and we just had a lot of fun with it.
One afternoon, 3 kids stayed after school to finish a project on global warming. Stop global warming. Stop global warming.
I got to hang out with my friends. I got to learn everything about global warming, things I may have not known. It was really just a fun experience and very educational.
I didn't think that I would learn so much about global warming as I did with this project, and I just learned a lot more about global warming and how to prevent it and how to get ready for it and what would really happen than I knew before this project.
I would take up any opportunity like this because it always would make me, I don't know, it made me feel accomplished and that I did a lot and I learned a lot and I had a lot of fun and everything.
As a teacher, every day it's kind of like, day by day and we see how it goes, but this has definitely been something that will help me to realize that I could teach in other ways.
The great thing about this as a teacher is that we're seeing the students in a totally different light. I can teach in the classroom, and that's an educational situation where I'm trying to teach them a certain topic. Whereas this, it was really, we facilitated it, and I facilitated the kids, and it was totally their own, actually teaching us as well as teaching others. And I think that was the most fun for me.
Well, when I found out that we didn't win, I kind of felt a little disappointed, but not that bad, because I thought we would really win because we did such a good job and put so much effort in it. But then I kind of I kind of settled down. I was like, you know what, that's okay because I had so much fun doing this and it was a good opportunity.
It's story time!
Kids really benefit from what their teachers learn at the Teaching Learning Celebration. There are many opportunities to meet world-renowned speakers and authors like Jane Goodall and Jean-Michel Cousteau. Some schools are integrating real-life experiences like these into their classrooms. The Great Neck School District on Long Island gathered their 5th graders together for an intimate chat with author Lucy Hawking, daughter of renowned physicist Stephen Hawking, about their exciting new book, George's Secret Key to the Universe.
There's a synergy that we try to look for in education. We try to bring various elements together, all to accrue to the benefit of the kids that we have. And in this instance, we're talking about not only science, which is certainly very relevant to the world and to our youngsters, but we're also talking about the ability of kids to connect directly with a person, a real human being, who's done something exciting, who's involved in not only authoring a book, but in working with youngsters.
So the book has lots and lots and lots of bits and pieces in it.
I had the idea for George's Secret Key to the Universe because I wanted to write a book with my dad. I have a background in creative writing that would explain some of the work he's done to my son, who's now 10, and to kids who are coming up to my dad and asking him questions like, so Stephen, what would happen if I fell into a black hole?
But he actually says that no, he wouldn't be particularly interested in going inside a black hole because he might never come out in the form that he is now.
I really enjoy giving the presentation. You're absolutely right that I try and make it quite entertaining so that the children feel they've got points of reference with their own life, and that's why we start with this idea of how far, who's come the farthest to school today.
So you've come 4 miles to be here today. Well, I've come 26,000 miles.
to be with you today.
A presentation like this gets the kids so excited about science and so excited about what they've heard that what you hope will happen, and it does, is they will spill this over into the classroom.
They're fascinated not only by hearing about the author, Lucy Hawking, but as well about her father as well, and about the science behind the book. That's why it was a great combination. We're always telling students to write from their experiences, so it was good for the students to see that here is an author who is published with a book, and she's writing from her experiences.
Eric is very much drawn from my dad's personality. He's got the same personality traits. He's got this kind of childlike sense of wonder, this quest for knowledge, this desire to impart that knowledge to other people, to tell people about his discoveries and to tell them in a very straightforward and accessible sort of way. And that's very much my dad, just as the little girl, Annie, is very similar to me as a small child. In order to write this book, I had to learn an enormous amount of physics, and I had to understand it in a way that allowed me to work with it creatively.
You know, there's many students out there who may not be science-oriented, but are more language arts-oriented.
What was the hardest part of getting your book published?
A presentation like this helps build interest in space exploration, specifically, and physics, where normally some students would have a keen interest in that, but this opened it up to a much broader range of students.
When I was at school, certainly, I don't remember authors coming to visit to talk about ideas, books, concepts, and I think it's a great development because I have a chance to talk to the kids, they have a chance to talk to me, we have a chance to do a few little exercises together, you know, become cosmic billionaires together and talk about surfing around the solar system. And so I like this much more creative, much more flexible, idea-driven model of education.
I think there's a life, a liveliness, a joie de vivre that kids will see in an author. When you read a book, you don't see the author. If you're lucky, you read the back of the book first and you see a photo of the author. And if you're lucky, the teacher will talk about the author. We try to do that, but to really read a book after you've seen an author talk about that book, you're connecting with the human being who's putting the words in that book. And what we want to see in kids is maybe this could be me.
Well, children, I mean, they are tomorrow's world. And science affects us all now, and it will do even more so in the future. And they are the people who will make tomorrow's decisions. And I feel it is very important that they have some involvement, some understanding, that they don't turn away from science in order to make decisions. I mean, that's what George says in the book. You know, we need to get involved with it. We need to understand this if we're going to take the right sort of decisions about our future.
What we try to do in the Great Neck Schools is to the extent possible, really connect our children at all grade levels with real life, real experiences, whether it's through the use of technology, which at this point is really at the fore, and helps us to enhance that kind of ability to connect kids with real things, or to bring people in, or to have children visit. Real life experiences stick with kids and cause them to dream and follow those dreams and maybe make something happen that's better for the world, better for them.
Exhibitors like the world-renowned Cold Spring Harbor Laboratories Dolan DNA Learning Center attend the Teaching and Learning Celebration to bring teachers information on real-time science experiences. The DNA Learning Center offers extensive programs to teachers and students, and now with a brand new satellite DNA Learning Center in Harlem, many more can experience the excitement of real-time science.
One of the things I talk about real-time science is that there's some extraordinary discoveries going on now that we think society, and particularly the next generation, meaning kids, need to learn about. And so what our DNA Learning Center does is to take very contemporary and complicated science, break it down into simple and understandable technologies and ideas and concepts, and then teach those.
I like that we're doing state-of-the-art gene experiments in essentially an antique building, and to me that sends a better message to kids. Science isn't something that comes down from outer space and lands on you. Rather, it's something that comes out of the culture and the people of the time.
Sometimes we are working for the future, sometimes we are going to the past. And sometimes we mix this past and the future. So it's all goes to one goal. All our work to help a scientist today to succeed and to help a human being to live longer in this life.
Here we have a couple different movies. There are 3 different movies. They're really short movies. One is on development, one is on growth, and one is on the coding of DNA to form a protein.
We focus entirely on hands-on experiments for kids. Now, hands-on experiments deal with genetics for the younger kids, but the older kids do biochemistry. And this biochemistry you wouldn't have even thought about doing with high school kids when we first started. So when we opened the first teaching lab in 1988, no one had ever done these sorts of experiments with large numbers of pre-college kids. Nobody knew the implications, nobody knew if it was really dangerous or not. And what we proved 250,000 kids later is, in fact, there's no danger to doing these experiments. The results you hope are that you have a generation of kids who understand the promise of gene research, and if they're asked to debate or to understand the issues, have a background of science that lets them make those debates in a sensible way. We'd like to make New York City the #1 place for DNA. We're struggling to have a DNA-based industry and biotechnology industry. We're struggling to have people who are informed about DNA and about what the role that genes play in their lives and their health. So it's natural for us to move into Harlem and start this Harlem DNA lab where we can reach thousands of kids per year with this message that DNA is your life and DNA, to a great extent, is your future.
Well, there's a lot of focus now on improving education across the board, and we're particularly interested in improving science education. What's in it for the teachers is that I think teachers can go and learn techniques such as DNA forensics and about genomes and about the history of genetics. They can go and learn these techniques and teach in their classrooms the types of things that the kids are seeing on CSI when they go home from school. And that's really exciting for a kid. So our goal at the Dolan DNA Learning Center and here at the Harlem DNA Lab is to do science in real time, which means to let the kids get close to what's happening in science now, not things that happened 20 or 30 years ago.
Well, today is the first day that students have come into the Harlem DNA Lab. It's kind of like the groundbreaking ceremony. They've had a chance to go to different stations that we've set up, get a little taste for what's going to go on during the school year. We plan on seeing them for several weeks throughout the rest of the year.
When the students first walked into the lab, and these were the first students to enter our Harlem DNA Lab, when they did so, you could tell they were a bit intimidated. They may have never been in a classroom that's set up this way, because it is a classroom, as much as it is a lab.
It really had gone from being a space that wasn't really used for anything. We've come in really a matter of a couple of months. We have fully equipped lab stations in each part of this room. We have centrifuges, an autoclave, we have freezers, refrigerators, we have all this great equipment, micropipettes, vortexers, everything that we're going to need to have a fully equipped lab. So I think that they're excited that it's in their school, and they can say, our school has the Harlem DNA Lab. How cool is that? So it's theirs to use. We really want them to feel empowered to say, this is our lab, we're going to go to our lab today and do a genetic engineering experiment or a DNA extraction, or hey, you know what, I did my own DNA fingerprint today.
From what I've learned personally as a teacher, now as an educator at the Learning Center, is how important it is to feel comfortable with the information and to be able to offer them these hands-on laboratory experiences. It comes with some knowledge, and the workshops will provide the teachers with the opportunity to feel comfortable and to be ready to teach those labs themselves.
I'm just going to place it on my tongue and then lift it up, so watch. As long as they come here and they have fun and they realize, science isn't just textbooks. This didn't just pop into my textbook one day, oh, somebody discovered this. No, it happened in a lab, and they're part of that. So now they're really making history too.
We'd like to thank everyone for joining us on this episode of Learning Curve.
And you can learn more about math, science, global awareness, and 21st century skills in education by logging on to WLIWcelebration.org.
And join us at our next Teaching and Learning Celebration on March 6th and 7th, 2009. Thanks for watching.
Did you meet any teachers?
Mitchell, we met, not only did we meet teachers, we also met learners.
No way.
And we celebrated them both.
Everybody, one big celebration, huh?
It's been a great time here at the WLIW WNET celebration of teachers, teaching and learning, and boy have we been celebrating. In fact,
Oh, you're not
I think it's about time for me to...
Central Park is that way. You may want to go
that
to the
way.
branch. Yeah.
Yeah, I got to find a sleeping branch.
Okay.
Whoa.
I bet. All right, well, thanks a lot for coming.
Thanks for having me. And
Okay.
thank you, too. You got to come down here and see this place. And this is Snook from It's a Big, Big World on PBS. I'll see you in the World Tree. Bye.
Bye.
And remember, celebrate, celebrate.
This is WLIW New York.
Singer, songwriter, and recording success story. Otis Redding embodied the essence of soul music.
There's no one like Otis and never has